Well, here we are, getting ready to put the steering box on here. So, before you put the steering box, you have your detents for your steering box. Now, you can see that sits lower, higher. So try and make sure that your steering box or your detents are down, everything's in neutral, and that lines up your selector squares here. So when we bring the top down, we should be able to get the gear stick in there, no worries at all. So we've cleaned all this up, and if you can recall, we've done a video on doing the steering box up, but those who watch my videos will know I love a good bit of grease. So what we're going to do is put a little bit of grease on the gasket. That's probably more than a little bit, Lance, but anyway. That way, if we ever need to get it off, it'll come off nice and cleanly. All the surfaces will be looked after well. We're not gumming up down in here with gasket glue of any kind. I'll just drag some of that back off. This is a Sparex gasket. I don't think the brand of gasket will really matter. That's a fair bit of grease. It looks probably too much, really. We'll tidy up our hands a bit and we'll just drag a little bit of that off. You're not relying on the grease to do the sealing. And it keeps, I reckon, I don't know, that's my theory, but I reckon a little bit of grease on the gasket stops them drying out over time. You see gaskets with a bit of shrinkage in it, but maybe right, maybe wrong. Okay, so with making sure this is all in place, we can sit our gasket in the position it should be. And you'll notice it sits up high here, that's okay. Okay, we've got the bolts all buffed up there. The bolts are all sitting here all buffed up, ready to go on. I've cleaned all the threads and everything, so I'll go and get the steering box. Okay, here's the steering box. Now as we go down, we're looking to get this square in there and this one into the high-low. So we try and set it where it should be. And you can see a little bit down in through the hole here, but if I get down, you can feel that there, that's in gear, and you can feel this one's in the right place. So we need to just make sure we line the front of the box up here. Once again, we start all the bolts by hand before we tighten any down. You can feel that spring tension there. You notice we never put this on before because they were in the road and I couldn't store the steering box anywhere really. Make sure this gasket's where it should be. Bit of a jiggle seems to help line things up. Almost as good as swearing, not quite. Okay, I've got an extra bolt there that I've had left over, so I usually like to start on these two here, and that helps pull the front down. Whether you do that or not probably doesn't matter. Another thing with grease in the gasket is later on, see that gasket sticks out a little bit. I run down there with the blade and I clean it all up, and then I often get a little piece of a little pot with some petrol in it, and I put some petrol and make sure there's no residue there, so that when I'd like to get the a bit of undercoat or a bit of primer there, well, there's nothing there that's going to stop the paint from sticking because I've washed it all off. And I've even done it with a little brush with a little bit of thinners as well, so just to make sure it's all neutralised nicely. Pull these fellas down at the front. I'll tighten these with a ring spanner yet. Oh, bloody thing. Oh no, I was just swearing there. I looked over at the camera, it looked like I wasn't recording. I was nearly going crook. Well, I was going crook. I ain't nearly about it. Make sure these are nice and tight. Now for the moment, I'm just going to put a filler cap there, and look, for no other reason than to stop anything falling in there. And at this stage, we should be able to work through our gears. They all feel nice, high, low, neutral, that all feels good. Now these gear stick boots, they're still just sitting upside down. They're the old ones. I'll actually fold them over and paint over them, then take them off and put nice new ones on once the paint job's done, so I'll just leave them there. Now, I can't remember if I've put oil in the steering box or not. We'll have a look at that. And well, looks like I did for sure. That's okay, it's just good to check. Like I said, I couldn't remember if I did or I didn't. So. Okay. I'll Put a little bit of Loctite on there, just as a thread sealer, nothing more. They need a little gob or two, but the Loctite's about run out. You can see the Loctite pushes out just a little bit, and that acts as a thread sealer, so once you get your tractor all painted up nice and tidy, you don't get that little oily weep around there. This old shifter, she got some sloppy old jaws on it, but anyway, if we go steady, we'll be right. Okay, that's on. Let's go and find these shafts and we'll put them on and tighten them up. That's all we need to do. And that's it. That's it for this. That'll be it for the steering box. But we won't put the dash or any of this top end on as yet because we'd like to paint it all. Okay, we've got these steering arms to put on, and you'll see the different shape. This one with the big kick in it here comes to this side here, which is the left hand side, and they have master splines in there so they can't actually be hooked up wrong. So I'll just set this one up there for a second and we should be able to get this one started. There we go. So that's right one way. That's right the other way, so I believe we're good. And it has a spring washer. I don't put anything on the spline, no Loctite or anything like that on these because they can be hard enough to get off as it is, but we do need to make sure they go on bloody tight. So, look what I do, I go for the nut gun. So cover your ears. So that won't come off. Oh, I just kicked the camera then. I'll go around the other side and where's my master spline there? There it is there. So one on there. Once again, where's the nut? There we go. Okay, now we're on the right hand side. Same story. Okay. Now let's see. I need a little steering wheel or something to put on the top there. So anyway, that is fine. Okay, so if I turn the top of the steering column with my shifting spanner, we have a full range of steering. And that looks okay. Here we are. This is how far we've got to date. We have the gearbox on. I'll just lift that up a bit. The steering box on. The axle's on. Must be time to have a look at some brakes. We might be able to tidy all that up in there, and we'll see if we can get some brakes and some brake drums on, and that'll button up this little section.